laws of motion, better known as Newton's laws of motion. In this video, we are going to discuss about the first law of motion. The first law of motion is nothing but the definition of inertia. So, what is inertia? Let us take an example to understand what is inertia. If you have a block lying on a surface and you want to move the block along the right side, will it move by itself? It will not. You need to apply some force on the block so that it can move from its position of rest. So after applying some force on the block, it starts to move and then comes to rest after a certain distance. Imagine if you had a completely frictionless surface. If the given surface was completely free of any kind of friction, then in that case what will happen? In that case, the same block lying on the frictionless surface, when you apply a little amount of force, it will move through infinite distance. From this situation, we understand that any given object at rest will remain at rest unless some external force acts on it, and any object in motion will continue to do so unless acted upon by an external force. So, we define inertia as a tendency to remain unchanged unless acted upon by external unbalanced force. Hence, from that, the first law of motion is stated as, under the absence of net external force, a body at rest remains at rest and a body in uniform motion in a straight line continues to do so. Keep in mind that there is absence of net external force. That means even if some forces are acting on it, those forces have balanced such that the net external force is zero. Let's have a look at some practical examples so it is easier for you to remember this law. The first law of motion. An object that is at rest will stay at rest unless an external force acts upon it. The first law of motion directly applies to your morning routine. Now, for the second part, you all must have experienced that when you are in a bus that is going at a certain speed and the driver suddenly brakes, then you experience something like this. The brake, and there you go. This move is called the anti-gravity. Well, it's not anti-gravity, it's the first law of motion. Now, for some examples that may be asked in your examination. Following are examples of bodies in motion. Are they examples of Newton's first law? First one. A bus moving at 40 km per hour on a straight road. So it is moving in a straight line with uniform velocity. Yes, it is an example of the first law. Then, the flow of water in a river. The answer here will be no, as the flow of river water is like the movement of a body on an inclined plane. The next one, Earth's rotation around the sun. This one will also be a no, since the gravitational force of the sun acts on the earth, hence the net external force on the earth is not zero. Now an example for an object at rest. What are the forces acting on a book lying on a table? Why does it stay at rest despite the forces acting on the book? So, what are the forces acting on the book? Any book lying on a table exerts its weight on the table in vertically downward direction. As a result, there is a normal reaction acting vertically upwards. These forces are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, hence the net force acting on the book will be 0. So the book lying on the table continues to stay at rest. That is all for Newton's first law. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, leave some comments and don't forget to subscribe.